Hello, everyone. Welcome all, and come on into tonight's blockchain programming webinar. Hope everyone can hear and see me well. My name is Alexandra, and I will be your host for tonight's webinar. Come on in, everybody. Let me know in the chat if you can hear and see me well. Tonight, we are discussing our blockchain programming course coming this summer. Starting very shortly on about the 22nd, we'll be launching this summer semester. We're also running complimentary course Web 3 for those of you interested in doing 2 courses or a more advanced level. We are also running Web 3. So I'll drop a link to tonight's webinar in the chat. Feel free to visit our website here at Blockchain Programming category. We will also be posting this recording on YouTube, on the Lumiwealth YouTube channel. So I encourage you to subscribe. We post tutorials as well as webinars like these, reviews by students, and much more. So we want to post more free content for you all on YouTube channel. All right, so we're promoting our blockchain programming course this evening. You can read up on the course page already some information about why we launched this course, some of the projects that you build. You can also see the entire curriculum. This will be an 8-week course running this summer, excluding any holiday breaks in between. But in general, we run for about 8 weeks. You can also see a couple of projects that you'll be building. This is just a few examples of what you'll be building together with me in this course. We also have 3 different plans for taking this course: self-directed, live classes, and project help or tutoring. You can pick any of these plans that best suits you. The self-directed plan is where you're going to be studying on your own. You'll be watching our video library. We have over a year's worth of videos already because we did launch this course about a year ago. So we've had a few semesters. You can already start watching back. And you will get lifetime access to the video library. So you get all the future semesters as well. Now, for the live classes option, you will also get to meet live with me every Thursday. And this is where we'll go through the curriculum together every week. And you can also ask questions live, you can share your screen, do some project building together in class. This is also great if you need that extra motivation to learn. Then we have the tutoring plan. So if you want one-on-one tutoring or project help building out a project or starting a company, then we recommend our project help or tutoring plan. We also have payment plans available if needed. So you can just select any of these options. You can see here our upcoming live class registration closes soon, and we do keep seats limited, so please register as soon as possible to grab a seat because we keep our class sizes small for the live classes. And effort varies on your course goals. If you want to just watch along, that's totally fine. But if you want to do challenges, homework, projects, then it will take more hours per week. And we'll meet every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. Eastern, just like tonight's webinar. And each week we meet for about 2 hours if you're in our live classes or the tutoring plan. Any questions about the logistics behind the course? You can just select the option that best works for you and then add it to your cart. If you add a second course as well, you'll automatically get 10% off. Then you can proceed to checkout and you'll immediately have access to the library that we already have, the existing library. You can choose to pay with a payment plan, and then you can get ready for the summer. All right. If we have no further questions, then we can dive into our topics for tonight. So tonight we're going to be giving you a teaser of some of the topics in this course. I'm actually going to be showing you some of the slides from the course itself as well. Before we begin, I'd love to get to know your goals for tonight, your goals for the summer. So if you feel brave enough, please drop in the chat. What is your current job? What are your goals for the course? Do you have any experience in coding or the blockchain? This will help me to better gauge the audience. Usually my audience is complete beginners. I expect for my students not to have much experience, so usually we cover all the topics from the ground up. You can see all the topics that will be covered in the curriculum right here on the course page. So you can see that typically we start off with a complete introduction to the blockchain and to coding as well, specifically coding for the blockchain. And then each week we gradually increase the difficulty level. If we have more advanced students, then we can start from a more advanced level, but typically I do expect complete beginners to be in the course. That's what we've been having for the past year. So each week we increase difficulty, we add more topics, more programming concepts, and this is a project-based course. So the goal is to get you coding live with me in class, because that is the best way to learn, is to build small but sure projects. Then by the end of the 8 weeks, you'll have some projects in your portfolio, and you'll also have the tools to move on independently on your own, how to find more projects, how to start building your own projects. So we're going to be learning together the Solidity programming language. Thanks for your question, Beatrice. We'll be learning Solidity, which it looks similar to JavaScript, for those of you familiar with web development. However, it is not JavaScript, it's a different programming language, but that is the programming language we'll be learning, Solidity. This is the programming language for the Ethereum blockchain, which is currently the most popular blockchain for programmers, because with the invention of Ethereum came the invention of smart contracts or applications that can live on blockchains. We will be learning Solidity from scratch. You can see in week 1, we start with an intro to Solidity, writing our first Solidity code. So we'll be learning core programming topics like variables, loops, functions, arrays, dictionaries, all of that. Many different programming concepts, but through the lens specifically for the blockchain. And if you do have programming experience, that will give you a great leg up, because if you know one programming language, you can transfer your skills to another programming language quite easily, because they do have common patterns that appear over and over. Thanks for the question. Yes, we'll be learning Solidity. If anyone has questions throughout the night, feel free to drop them in the chat. You can also ask them at the end, whenever you'd like. Happy to clarify or repeat or go deeper into a certain topic. You can also email our team with questions throughout the week. If any of you do have a question after the webinar, if you forget, feel free to ask a question at our email. You can also find us on Circle or Discord, like those of you watching at lumiwealth.circle.so. You can also book a call with us. You can see a link to a call on the page here somewhere. There it is, book a call. We do have time available in the calendar before the course begins. So please book a call if you do have any other questions that you'd like to talk in depth about. I'll drop a link to that. You don't have to be a current student to chat with our instructors or to book a call with us. You can also join our Circle, our Discord. You don't have to be a current student. That's totally fine. We're happy to answer questions about the courses to everyone. Of course, if you are a student, you get that extra help for solving your projects and your programming problems. All right, now let's dive into an intro to this blockchain programming masterclass. My name is Alexandra, and I have been teaching this class for about a year now, and so I'm excited to bring it back in the summer. This will be a fun summer semester with some fresh twists, some new changes coming to the course as well. For example, we will be introducing use of AI, ChatGPT, towards the end of the course, just talking about how you can leverage some of those new tools that have come out. You can see on the course page here, we added this new blurb about these changes coming to the summer. So we will be learning how to use ChatGPT, how to use image generation models to help with coding, help with project ideas, image creations for image assets, and even more media assets for things like NFTs. So it'll be fun to expand the course and keep evolving it every semester, keep it fresh. All right, now let's dive in. Why did we start this masterclass in the first place? Well, we saw a need online and just in general with our students. Mostly, we began here at Lumiwealth with financial courses. You can see on our site, maybe some of you have already taken some of our financial courses like algorithmic trading, options trading, crypto trading now, AI for trading. And the financial industry, as well as many other industries, have been affected by blockchain technology. We see more and more use of cryptos, tokens, contracts, blockchains, decentralization, all of these in different industries specifically that use software or code. So the financial industry was a big one. You cannot ignore the use of blockchain in especially the financial space. So this inspired us to create blockchain programming to meet this demand and to start to use new technology for our existing projects and our previous courses. Similarly, we're now adding courses on ChatGPT, and we're including sections on ChatGPT in our courses. So we want to make sure we're always on top of the latest technologies and using them in our courses, in our projects that we teach to you students. That way you can be sure that you're learning the most relevant content today. So blockchain was one of these where there's high demand for courses on the blockchain. And there are a few courses out there because it is such a new technology. So all these factors combined inspired us to create this project-based course. So the goal of this course is to take you from a complete beginner and teaching you through an easy to understand step-by-step basis how to understand the space and how to build projects in the field. So we'll teach you hands-on, you'll learn by doing in this course. Maybe you've already tried to learn about the blockchain on your own, you've looked online. Maybe you want to build some projects, but you're confused where to start because there's a lot of information out there. So we created this streamlined curriculum so that you can learn in the most efficient way possible. Because putting this course together, it was a lot of research, a lot of sifting through information online, building projects across different streams, different levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced. And so we have weeded out all the unnecessaries and just focused on the core tools that you need to learn so that you can add blockchain to your resume or start building projects and have a portfolio of projects that you can rely on that are using the most popular and relevant tools. So if you want to get a firm grasp on blockchain, if you want to learn about topics like smart contracts, how to build projects as well, like using coding and Solidity, building your own cryptos, your own NFTs, there's a whole range of different projects that you can build. So if you're interested in this space and hopefully excited about the space, then this is going to be a great summer course for you. As well, I get tons of investors in the course, so people that like to invest in different projects or coins or just in general stocks. So if you want to understand better the technology behind all these different projects coming out, make smarter investment choices, then learning the behind the scenes will also help inform that. So this course is focused on building exciting projects that a beginner can handle because we have 8 weeks together, so we want to maximize what you can learn in these 8 weeks. All right, hopefully you're excited now about this course that we've designed and that we've been running for about a year. Next, let's talk about some reasons why you should learn about blockchain technology. What are some motivators or reasons that this technology is getting so popular and being more used each and every day? Well, we see this new type of technology called blockchain technology affecting different industries and projects, companies in different ways. Most common way, cryptos. Likely many of you have heard cryptocurrencies, NFTs. These are two of the most popular ways that we see blockchain technology being adopted. But beyond that, for example, is the power of smart contracts, which are like applications, like a website or a video game or a desktop app. Those are all applications. Similar concept of a smart contract is an application or something that can run, but it's being run on this new type of technology, the blockchain. And we'll talk more about how that works and how is blockchain technology different from just your regular old computer or your regular old software app. Sometimes the blockchain is even called the future of the internet because of how it's affecting the creation of other software. So you can take blockchain technology and you can connect it to other types of software, because blockchain is just software. It's just something built with code. So you can combine it with other projects or apps built with code, like a website. You can take a website and you can connect it to blockchain technology to run over Ethereum or to incorporate cryptos, whatever kind of connection you want to do. So because of its effect on web development, many times it's called the future of the internet because of how it's changing some websites with the creation of decentralized apps. We'll be talking more about decentralized apps next week if you want to join me for another webinar. And as I mentioned before, we saw the blockchain affect financial industries, but we see the use of this type of technology across different industries. Any industry that can use code, which is almost all of them by today's day, any industry like that can connect to other forms of code, which blockchain is one type of software or something built with code, in other words. So we see everything like video games, which are apps built with code. They can connect to the blockchain, and we see that integration a lot. Even music software can connect to this decentralized technology. So we see more and more integration with this new form of tech. So here we have some more examples of what blockchain can do. So the goal of this 8 weeks is to train you to become a blockchain developer or blockchain programmer. So you're going to learn how to get behind the scenes and how to develop these projects, as well as in general how it all works and how you can achieve your goals, whether it's getting hired at a company that is integrating blockchain technology or getting hired at a startup that specializes in this type of technology, or you want to just build your own project, start your own company, or just add coding to your resume, or even just better understand the blockchain and different projects, how they work, how you can be better informed about this technology. So I have tons of different students with different goals, but in general, everyone wants to learn about the blockchain and just get better knowledge. And we do that in this course through project building. So even if you have no experience in coding or the blockchain, then you can still sign up. That's totally fine. Usually that is what I get. Most of my students are complete beginners. And these skills are cross-transferable. So once you learn with me how to code in Solidity, you can transfer your coding skills to another language if you want to learn something else or deepen your knowledge. Most programmers, in fact, I'd say almost all programmers, they have experience or knowledge in more than one coding language, so it's very normal. And you can easily transfer your skills between different languages. All right, so you can transfer your skills in general just because you will be learning programming in a general sense, the core topics of programming, which are applicable to all types of application development. We're going to be building apps for the blockchain, which are called smart contracts technically. But you can leverage the same skills to build mobile apps, to build video games, to build websites, to build desktop software. So you will be starting with the blockchain, but if you choose to go to another stream, then skills will still be useful. So let's talk about some real world examples of blockchain technology, because we do see the tech being used and more projects being created every day. And popularity does increase all the time. So because of these reasons, we saw a need to build a course like this. Now, when did this all begin? Well, back in the 90s, there was theorizing and kind of idea creation of this kind of technology, but it only actually was built in 2008 with the first blockchain, which was Bitcoin. With Bitcoin also came the invention in 2008 of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. So it was the first blockchain and the first crypto at the same time. Since then, we've had more blockchains being created all the time. You could even build your own blockchain if you wanted to. You could clone an existing blockchain if it's open source, if it's free with no copyright. And we see more cryptocurrencies, we see tokens being created all the time. So it all started back in 2008. It's kind of in the doghouse, not much popularity, but has grown in popularity, obviously, until this day. But it all began with the first blockchain, Bitcoin. Now, in this course, we're going to be using not Bitcoin, but Ethereum. You might be thinking, why not use Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin was quite significant, and it is the most popular blockchain today, yes. In 2015, however, 7 years after Bitcoin, there was a new blockchain that was another blockchain that was an iteration on Bitcoin, and it was built as meant to be an improvement on Bitcoin, and that was named Ethereum. So with Ethereum came the ability to build complex applications on a blockchain that could run on this technology. So I could take something like my whole business and I could put all the business processes and run them on Ethereum. Or I could take my online shop and run it on Ethereum. I could take my video game and run some of its processes, tracking score, tracking moving users around, moving players, collecting items. I could put those processes and run them on Ethereum. Now with Bitcoin, you could only put very simple scripts. You could not put something complex like your whole business operations onto Ethereum or onto Bitcoin. You could not do that with Bitcoin, but you can with Ethereum. And so this is why we chose Ethereum, because Ethereum was the first to invent such a power or ability. Ethereum was built with developers in mind. The whole point of the Ethereum blockchain in 2015 was to expand what was possible to run on a blockchain. So it's quite significant. And today, Ethereum is the #2 most popular blockchain. So we would have chosen Bitcoin if you could build apps for Bitcoin, but you simply cannot build such complex projects for Bitcoin. Now, you may likely be familiar with NFTs as well. Those are, again, another popular way that we see blockchain talked about. Also went from not very popular to getting a lot of hype and dropping down a bit again. So these are the two most common ways that we see this technology, especially in the media, being talked about. But from a technical point of view, there is more that can be done with blockchain technology than just building a coin and building an NFT. You can, like I mentioned, you can put complex applications, operations, and run them on something like Ethereum or whatever other blockchain you want to use. A company might build their own blockchain specifically for running their own processes. But if you learn how to use one, then again, you can cross-transfer your skills. So if you learn, you're confident with working with Ethereum, then you can transfer your skills if you do choose to use another blockchain, because the core technology is going to be similar because they're all in the same category. Now, you might be thinking at this point, why would someone want to put their business operations or their application, their video game, whatever it is, why would they want to put it onto Ethereum in the first place? Well, we can talk more about that later, but that is behind the scenes of what the blockchains can actually do and how they are structured, what makes them different from just your traditional software, how we typically just run our applications on computers with servers and databases. There are many benefits of putting operations, applications, whatever, software, just code onto Ethereum to run some process. Number one is, of course, you can take advantage of cryptocurrencies. You can use them for payments, just integrate them. Another reason is to establish user trust, because once you publish code to Ethereum, it's going to be publicly available for your users to see and to verify what you're promising to them, the user. There's also less chance of losing data, especially historical data or massive amounts of archival data, which typically can easily get lost or corrupted. With traditional technology, it's much less likely to get lost or corrupted if it's stored or run on a blockchain. We also have higher security in terms of cybersecurity. We have better encryption, validation, transactions are validated or checked. This is due to the cryptographic nature of this technology. So we have much fewer hacks, identity thefts, again, data loss, as well as just in general security vulnerabilities when we properly build smart contracts for our operations. Now, we already talked about some more real-world examples, like the use of blockchain technology integrated with other apps, like even a video game. Does anyone have questions so far about what we've been mentioning? Feel free to drop a question in the chat if you do want to hear more about any of these topics. Now, another example of where we see this technology being used is, as I introduced before, in websites or web applications. And this is where we'll talk more next week about decentralized apps or dApps, decentralized applications. This is just another example of taking some code, like a website, code behind a website, and replacing some of it or all of it in terms of the backend, just changing how the website is run. Instead of running it with your typical server database, you can add or replace your structure to run it over Ethereum. And again, this is to take advantage of some of the benefits of blockchain technology that we already mentioned. So we see more and more of these projects and companies that are incorporating blockchain technology into their existing structure, or just new companies, new projects. So because of this, we see effects of this technology being used more and more across different industries wherever we see code. So next week, we'll talk more about Web3. You can save that for next week, but it's just more in detail about how the blockchain affects web development specifically. But other than that, we also see different companies like financial spaces using this technology, and just in general for transactions, doing transactions like purchases or agreements, where typically you would need to incorporate middle parties. You'd have to establish trust between the buyer and seller through signing electronic or physical contracts, including lawyers, the banks, or a payment system like credit card, PayPal. But instead, we see transactions done over blockchain technology so that they can be done with fewer middle parties, so fewer parties taking fees in the transaction, as well as higher security and user trust, because the transaction agreement is publicly available on the blockchain and cannot be changed once it is put up. All right, so those are just a few reasons to get excited about the blockchain and some ways that we see it being implemented. You can also learn to make better investments, as I mentioned before, by understanding code behind how it all works. And there's good job prospects because this is a relatively new technology, especially compared to other types of programming where you have, high supply. In this case, there are relatively fewer blockchain developers. One example of a transaction that I mentioned could be buying a house, taking a loan, buying a car. Any kind of transaction could be large or small. Doesn't even have to be a purchase, could just be any kind of transfer of assets or agreement, or even any kind of operation, like sending a shipment or giving a player an item in a video game, or storing a new user that signs up to your website, or giving a user access to a product. Any kind of interaction or operation can be done over blockchain technology to be faster, more transparent, more secure, cheaper, less data loss. All of those reasons, all of those examples and benefits are reasons that we see different processes like a purchase or a business operation or selling of products, why we see them being put to run on blockchains. As I mentioned, there's also much better security. All right, any questions so far about why you should learn about the blockchain or some ways that we see blockchain being used today? Our next topic will be, what is a blockchain itself? How does this work? We talked about how this technology is being used today across different fields, different spaces, different projects. But what is the technology itself? Let's talk about that next. Edwin asks, does blockchain have to be used in conjunction with another computer language like Java? No, it does not. You can build smart contracts, for example, in Solidity for Ethereum, and you do not have to incorporate any other computer language. So I could build out my own new bank application. Maybe I can allow users to make accounts, to make withdrawals, deposits in my own crypto token. They can take out loans. They can pay interest. Whatever the bank contract is, I write the contract in Solidity and then I can publish it on Ethereum. I don't have to involve any other computer language. And then that bank will operate on Ethereum. Now you can choose to combine it with another language if you'd like. For example, if you have a website where you're selling products and you wrote your website in JavaScript, you can connect your operations to blockchain, in which case you would be connecting JavaScript to Solidity, but you don't have to. There is a huge range of projects. In this course, we're just using one language, Solidity, to build applications that run independently on Ethereum. If you want to learn more about connection with other languages, then I encourage you to check out Web3. This is our other course about the blockchain. It's a bit more advanced here at Lumiwealth, and it's about doing integration with Solidity and other languages, specifically JavaScript for web development. So this is one use case, very popular, that we see where we integrate blockchain in conjunction with another language. So we actually built a whole separate course just about that. Great question. I hope I answered it with enough detail. Let me know if you want any further clarification. Feel free to ask. All right, next let's dive into what is a blockchain. And let's see here. Best is this visual right here. Okay, here, take a look at this visual of a blockchain. Now, this is just a metaphor. This visual does not actually exist in real life anywhere, but it's how you can picture the technology functioning. The blockchain is just some code. And when you say the blockchain, it I'm talking about Ethereum, but there are many blockchains out there: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Near, many blockchains out there, and you can even build your own version if you'd like. But if I say the blockchain, I'm just talking about blockchains in general, specifically Ethereum if you want to pick one. So this is a visual that you can use to understand how this code is run. Because the blockchain is made up of code, just like how websites are made, mobile apps, video games, how your computer displays and handles your user input, your interaction with your computer. All that is done with code. And this visual is showing how the data is being stored. So data is just referring to information. And when it comes to the blockchain, the data or information is storing what happened on the blockchain. Who's been interacting with it? What processes have been running on it? What transactions have been done? And all that data, the blockchain has to constantly store. Because every second, well, depending on the popularity of the blockchain, if it's not very popular, then maybe every month, someone will interact with the blockchain. Like for Bitcoin, someone will buy some Bitcoin or transfer some Bitcoin. Or with Ethereum, someone could publish a smart contract. Someone could interact with a contract. Someone could mint a new NFT. Someone could transfer some ETH coin. Whatever the users are doing on the blockchain, all of that is recorded and stored on the blockchain itself. And it's stored in this visual manner where you have this chain of blocks. Now, this chain of blocks is just how the data is structured. There's no actual chain of blocks sitting around anywhere. This is just a metaphor for how the information is being processed and how it's being stored. So every time someone interacts with the blockchain, like if I decide I want to purchase 1 ETH right now, as soon as I do it, well, Ethereum is going to validate or check the transaction to see if I am a valid account, if I have enough funds to make the purchase. They're going to check which ETH I'm buying as well, just that both parties or both sides, whoever is part of the transaction, both are valid users and that they're actually the owners of what they're trying to spend or sell, that they're not trying to counterfeit or sell something fraudulent. So the Ethereum does these security checks, and those checks are built into the code of how it's running. So all the time, whenever anyone interacts with it, it's going to do these validation checks. And that interaction will get stored on Ethereum. What did I do? How much did I spend? Who am I in terms of my account address? When did I do it? Date and time. What are any other information, any logs or messages part of the interaction? Was there any transfer of assets, like any tokens? For example, if I bought an NFT, was there a smart contract involved? What function in the smart contract? Like if I'm buying something from an online shop, what is the shop's contract? And what did I do? Did I buy an apple? Did I buy an orange? What did I do? So all that information is being stored permanently every time anyone does anything that changes something on the blockchain. Like if I want to just look at Ethereum, just see what's been happening, that doesn't get recorded. You can look at things anonymously on Ethereum, but you cannot perform an action anonymously. So technically everything must get signed by your address. So it's not like it's your name, but it is your address. So I cannot just do something anonymously without signing my interaction. The whole point of that is to establish trust, transparency, permanence, so that if I claim that I sent you some ETH yesterday, you can go and you can check. Did the process go through? Did it instead fail, or did it see that I didn't have that ETH to send you? Or did the transaction just not appear at all? So the whole point is that there's high trust in all parties that use the blockchain because they can trust that the blockchain is going to be recording everything that happened. So you can say, no, actually, you didn't send me that. It's not there on the blocks. Because a chance of security breach or fraudulence on a blockchain is very low compared to, your traditional software, like you're paying with your credit card or something, or some kind of digital currency other than cryptocurrency. It's in the name cryptocurrency because it's backed by cryptography. And so we'll talk more about how cryptos work, in the summer, but just in general, there is much more user transparency, less data loss, more cryptography or cybersecurity with this technology. And so that's why the popularity has increased. Now, each block contains some transactions. So you can actually go back to the very first block of Ethereum. You can see what happened on the first, few seconds. And then every batch of interactions, they get put in the boxes, kind of like filing cabinets. And this is all done in code. And this chain is ever growing. So every day, every few seconds, the chain gets longer and longer because people are always interacting with Ethereum. Once you put something onto Ethereum, you cannot take it back. So I cannot publish a contract and then erase it. I cannot send you some ETH and then erase that from the blockchain. It's permanent and immutable. You cannot change, erase, or delete anything from the blocks. Blocks are permanent data storage in that sense. We see much less data loss when we work with data or store it on the blockchain. Anything that you publish on the blockchain will also be running autonomously or independently. So if I publish my shop onto Ethereum, it's now going to run without any of my control. Now I could have administrative privileges so that I can, add new products or control products. However, I cannot actually change the code for my operations. In terms of editing the code itself, I would have to create a new contract. I cannot actually delete what I already published. And this is to help establish user trust because everyone can read my contract. They can see exactly what my business operations are doing because you cannot hide any interaction or code or operation or app that you want to publish on the blockchain. It will be transparent to help establish trust. So that is how information is stored on blockchain technology. And hopefully now you can see some of the reasons why it's so beneficial because you have very much less data loss, much higher security. You have transparency because everything is public and permanent, as well as everything is validated, encrypted, and as well, we have the use of cryptocurrencies, which themselves have much higher security than another type of digital currency, like just the US dollar. Any questions about this chain of blocks? Feel free to let me know if you want any more clarification on that. Now, we don't have much time left, so I want to talk about something else very interesting, which is the cryptocurrencies themselves. So let's see here. I had this slide about cryptos. Okay. In 2008, we got the first crypto invented, and that was Bitcoin. Bitcoin was revolutionary because it was a completely new medium of digital currency. You have your US dollar, your English pound, have your euro. Now, those are physical currencies. They're also digital currencies for spending through digital means. Credit card, PayPal, whatever. Transfer of the money. Now, cryptocurrency actually solved a big problem with digital currencies that we still have today with digital currencies, but we do not have with cryptocurrencies. And that problem is a computer science problem known as double spending. In other words, counterfeiting, or spending money that you don't own, or spending the same money twice, or creating digital currency out of thin air. Double spending. The double spending problem is a huge problem, huge reason for counterfeiting or fraudulent transactions. And that is with digital currencies. Cryptocurrencies actually solved the problem. They do not have the double spending problem. It is nearly impossible to counterfeit a cryptocurrency. I mean, hacks have been done before, but they are at a much, much smaller rate when we compare. And you might be thinking, how does this work? How did cryptocurrencies, how are they so secure? Well, it has to do with behind the scenes of how the blockchain itself, how the code is structured, how that invention of the type of technology works. But essentially, a cryptocurrency is backed by a blockchain. The blockchain that owns the cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin for the Bitcoin blockchain, Ether for the Ethereum blockchain, ADA coin for Cardano, all these different ones. The blockchain itself is going to be tracking ownership. And that means that if I try to spend some Bitcoin that I don't have, the Bitcoin blockchain is going to block me and mark me as a potential mal account, because it tracks ownership of different units of the coin at any given time. And one big part of that is, due to the permanence and the recording of every interaction that happens, as we already talked about. Every time something happens, it gets recorded, and that's part of the improved security for the money or coin. Now, beyond that, there's also a lot more involved, of course, in the actual crypto side, the cryptography side. So the name cryptocurrency, it comes from the word cryptographic currency, because it is a currency, like the US dollar. Sure, it's a currency, but it's backed by the cryptography of the blockchain. So for that, you would have to actually dive into the structure of blockchains themselves. It's kind of beyond our scope right now. We don't have to understand, all of the cryptographic and cybersecurity behind blockchains. It's a whole other field, really. And every now and then we see more blockchains being created that boast, different or improved cyber or cryptography, different algorithms, different proofs, different validation techniques, just all different types of structure behind the code of the blockchains. So all the time we see new blockchains coming out with different methods of achieving cryptography, or reducing gas fees, or processing more transactions, being faster, being better for the planet, more efficient. So all the time we see new blockchains coming out. But in general, they all follow these basic principles that we've been talking about all night long, or just for the past hour here. All right, so that is one reason to be excited about cryptos, other than the fact that, they're just hyped around all the time, and that, we see more cryptocurrencies being built all the time. Other than just the popularity, there is actual, cryptographic evidence or reason that they would have value. Any questions about cryptocurrencies? We will be learning how to build our own crypto token in the summer as one of our projects. We'll also be building an NFT contract, as well as a bank contract, just many other examples, but we will start off with very small projects, as I expect we'll have complete beginners, and then each week we can build more and more advanced projects. All right. Now, in terms of signing up, we still have spots left if you want to sign up for Web3 or blockchain programming. Blockchain programming is the more easier of the two for those of you that have no experience. Again, feel free to take a look here at the blockchain programming course. I can also drop a link to the slides for tonight if you want to download or watch back or read back. Feel free. You can see all 8 weeks on the curriculum, see exactly what you'll learn, and you can choose the plan that works for you. Self-directed, live classes, or project help or tutoring. So just pick whichever option works best for you, like the live classes, for example. We will be starting on June 22nd. So in just 2 weeks, we will be starting this course. So make sure to snag your spot. And if you sign up today, you can already start watching the previous videos from previous semesters if you want to start studying in advance. Does anyone have further questions about the plans or the blockchain, or any concerns that we can address for you? Please let me know in the chat. Be happy to answer any questions. So far, we've discussed blockchain, programming, as well as cryptocurrencies. And hopefully now you have a better understanding of some of these large topics. And of course, we will be covering them more in depth. And when you start building the projects, you'll also get a deeper understanding once we start building and running projects on Ethereum. If you'd like to hear about anything else, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, we have covered some of our intro topics for the night. Remember, we will be posting this on YouTube, so you can find this recording there as well. And if you want to ask questions throughout the week, you can message our team, or you can book a call with us as well. You can also message us on Circle. So I'll walk you through the cart process again. You can pick one or more courses to sign up with. If you choose more than one, you'll automatically get a discount. Then you can choose to pay with a payment plan. If you don't want to pay all at once, that's totally fine. And just like that, you will be able to access the entire video library that we already have. All right, I hope you all had a great time tonight. Remember to come back next week on Wednesday. We'll be running a webinar talking all about Web3, which is more into the web development side of how you can integrate software with blockchain technology, focused through a web development lens instead of strictly blockchain lens. So please come back on Wednesday if you're interested in hearing about that. Otherwise, I hope to see you on June 22nd, where we will be meeting together live at week 1 of our summer semester. It will begin on June 22nd. Does anyone have further questions? Is anyone in the chat today signed up yet? Feel free to drop a comment in the chat. If you have any concerns about signing up, then we'd be happy to talk and answer any questions or help you in any way so you can get as many people that want to sign up for whatever plan they can fit into. If you can't do the live classes, then you can do self-directed. That's totally fine. If you become unavailable in the summer for some reason, then you can always come back another semester at no extra charge. That's totally fine. You can come back anytime, even if you have some delay or interruption during the summer. You can come back in the fall, in the winter, in the spring, and still watch live. That's totally fine. All right, I hope you all had a great time tonight, and hope to see you on June 22nd. If we have no further questions, then we can call it a night. Hope you're all excited now about blockchains cryptocurrencies. Now you know more behind the scenes about the technology a little bit. And of course, we'll be diving even deeper behind the curtain in the summer. Thanks everyone for joining me, and I will see you next time.